Today we're talking about Divergent, factions, and how that applies to us as Christians. Hello and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from a couple devoted geeks devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Celeste, and welcome to Dystopian Devotions Month, a month where we have devotions all about dystopian societies. Before we get into today's devotion, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Today we're going to be talking about the world of Divergent. And it's one of those book series and movie series that is really interesting to me just because of the way things have played out. The main character of this series is named Triss, and in the world she lives in, when you reach a certain age, you have the choice of 5 factions that you have the option to choose for life. No matter what your choice, this is your choice for life, and if you don't do well, you become what they call factionless or homeless. The 5 factions are abnegation, candor, erudite, amity, and dauntless. The faction that Triss is born into is abnegation. They're your typical do-gooders. They serve. They're the ones who help feed the factionless. They're the ones who handle the things that tend to be a little bit more kind. You know, your nicer people. In our world, they would be the people who purposefully go out and volunteer for things. Now, spoilers in case you have not read the books or watched the movies, but Triss decides to choose a different faction when she comes of age. She chooses Dauntless. And Dauntless is almost the exact opposite of abnegation. They're rough, they're reckless, they jump onto trains to travel where they need to go. They're also the military in this world. Not that they have a military to be exact, but they are the ones who guard the borders. So when Triss chooses Dauntless over what everyone else thinks she is going to choose of abnegation, it's a bit of a culture shock for her. She has the fear of potentially becoming factionless if she does not do well at Dauntless. There is no going back and choosing what is safe. But here's the thing about Triss. She really doesn't fit into any mold. She is what we later learn called Divergent. They are accumulation of all 5 of the factions. She is honest, which is candor. She is peaceful, which is amity. She's brave, which is dauntless. And she's kind, which is abnegation. And she is intelligent, which is erudite. And then last but least, she's kind, which is abnegation. As Christians, we have a similar list of things that we have access to. Qualities that we should have in us. Galatians 5:22 through 23 tells us, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such thing there is no law. With this scripture, Paul is telling the people of Galatia that they should have these qualities if they have the Spirit of Jesus in them, which is the goal of every Christian, right? To be like Jesus. These things are a fruit or a byproduct of living for Him and serving Him and having Him in us, which this is great. We get love, we get joy, we get peace, we get faithfulness, we get self-control. That last one is not anybody's favorite, honestly, but it's key to the others, because if I don't have self-control to hold what's in my mouth, what's about to come out of my mouth and out of my brain and being said to others, then I'm not going to always show love. I'm not going to show peace or patience or joy, because if I don't exert self-control, then I don't choose. Well, I do choose, but I don't consciously choose what to do. To be honest, in my current job in the medical field, if I did not have self-control, I would be very rude to patients who were very rude to me. And it would not be kind. It would not be loving. It would not be joyful. It would not exemplify what I know Christ wants me to do and say. I would become a bad example of who he wants me to be. And not only that, but I have learned, again, in the medical field, and this applies to other things as well, that sometimes people are just having a bad day. They're scared. They don't want to be there. There's things going on that I have no idea about in their life. And so maybe them chewing me out or yelling at me or throwing things at me is a result of something going on with them and nothing to do with me. But if I don't have self-control to speak lovingly to them, then what's the point of being there? I can't fix their day. I can't fix what's going on in their life, but I can be kind. So a result of this is that every day I have the opportunity to exert self-control. I have the opportunity to show love, to show peace, to show joy and patience with patience. Now, the best part of this is that unlike being divergent, we can all have these qualities. We have to know God, know who he is, know who he's called us to be, and then purposefully and intentionally live it out. We choose to live out how we react to things, and if we react in a way that is pleasing to God. We just have an advantage over those who don't have Christ, because we have access to all these qualities through him. All we have to do is pray and then intentionally choose to act like Christ. And yes, nobody is perfect. We are all striving for that. But you can obtain it through Christ. Okay, well that was your devotion for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Question of the week is, what faction do you think you would belong to? We're going to post a link to a quiz down below. I took it and came up with erudite, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. If you've read the book and the series, you'll know why. But, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Could be raining. Don't forget to check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And this week is podcast week. There will be a podcast, and its theme may or may not go with Dystopian Devotions. We'll see.
Super excited!
Super excited. Also, we should have out a Bible study on Venom through our friends over at Geeks Under Grace. All that said, stay devoted.
Peace and love.